Since the goods and services tax has been implemented from January 1st, 2026, it has been making rounds in the social media. People are being speculative, rightfully so, because it's a new thing, and people has been asking questions, posting receipts of the tax cost of the products after GST, which is basically 5%. And day by day, people has been learning. Like today is day 2, so people are being sensitized, and people are getting more knowledge about the tax system, how it's going to benefit the country. And it's kind of responsibility of everyone, the public, the government, and the media. The public, they have to ask questions, and they have to be aware, they have to understand it. The government and the media has to answer the questions, sensitize them, and make people aware of the taxation system, because it's a new thing here in our country. I have come to know that it has been implemented in India, I think nearly around 8 to 9 years back, and it has been kind of improved the economy of India. So this system is kind of new, so it's new for me, new for most of us. And I just found out that the tax system is usually it's interesting because everybody has to pay, the beginning from the manufacturer. So they have made a list like manufacturer, the wholesale, and the retailer, and everybody has to pay, the consumer. And interesting thing is that there is no manipulation in the tax system, and what we understand is that at the end, the consumer is going to pay the tax. The GST is paid by the consumer. So basically what happens is that the manufacturer will pay GST for the raw materials and all, and when the wholesale people, when they buy from the manufacturer, they will take the responsibility and they will pay that GST to the manufacturer. And when the retailer buys from the wholesale, so the wholesale will pass the responsibility of GST to the retailer, and lastly the consumer will pay the GST. So basically the consumer pays the GST to the government. And the interesting thing is that if you are a kind of a businessman, and if you are kind of supplier or dealer, and if you are not registered to this system, basically you are acting as a consumer. So basically you have to bear the brunt of paying the tax to the government. So it's always better to be a registered registered dealer of the GST. So they have quoted an example in India itself, like the food vendors, the example being a chai wala. So chai wala, if he is not registered, basically he is paying a GST for the raw materials and all. But when he sells to the consumer, he has no right to pass down the responsibility of GST to the consumer because he is not registered. So basically he is in loss because he is paying the GST and he is selling the tea to the consumer without charging him GST. So the organized structure usually benefits from the GST, and people who are not in the organization, they bear the brunt. And especially in India, it's happened like that. So people who are not in the organized structure, they are facing the losses and all. But I'm sure in Bhutan, I think everybody will register with the GST, so they don't act as a consumer. For example, momo seller in the street and all, if they are not registered, they will act as a consumer, and they will bear the brunt of GST as a consumer. And when they sell, they can't charge GST, which the public should be aware, because they always has to ask whenever they buy from a dealer or supplier. So if they are paying GST, we have to make sure that the supplier is a registered GST dealer.